Hey there, Leos. Welcome to your general love reading for July 21st through the 31st. This is a general reading for Leo's Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising signs. I'm going to go ahead and just start shuffling the cards a little bit. I want to say thank you to everyone who's taken the time to subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, please take a moment just to go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you join up with the other people who are here. We just went over 3,000 subscribers to the channel, and that was super exciting for me. So thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate it. And it's been great getting to know some of you guys in the comments. That's fun for me when I do have time to go in and actually read and respond to you guys. I really do enjoy that a lot. Just going to do one more cut here. And then we will see what the cards have to say for you guys. Again, this is general love reading for Leo, July 21st through the 31st. Wow, they're already starting to come out. Any information regarding love for Leo, July 21st through the 31st. Any insight or information for Leo regarding love, July 21st through the 31st. Just had a card that flipped. Wow, okay. Well, Leo, apparently there's a lot that you guys need to know. So let's see what we have here. I'll leave that one sideways for now. Yeah, I'm going to say this card is probably reversed based on how the others are. So I'm actually just going to start here. I'll flip you guys over to this view for a minute. So you have the Death card coming out reversed here. So let me get this to focus. Not. Apologize for that, guys. I sense that there was something recently, Leo, that caused you to really have a lot of fear about not knowing exactly what the future might look like. It's a very specific energy that's showing up with this Death reverse card. It doesn't feel so much that there was something that was prevented from changing. I feel like it changed. But the energy that comes from this isn't so much about you fighting the change. I feel like you felt it was really somewhat inevitable. And I say that mostly because you have the Moon card coming out, and you also have Justice coming out reversed. These two cards really feel like in your heart you knew this was coming. You knew that there was nothing you could really do about it. You had come to peace with it in terms of the actual ending itself. But what I feel most strongly from you guys is just the sense of once it was done, just not knowing what was next, not knowing how life was going to look, not knowing even how you would be. It feels very much like for a long time, you really didn't have the ability to speak for yourself. You have the Princess of Swords coming out reversed. And for me, what this feels like is this sense of someone really, I don't feel like this is you, I feel like this would be the other person. But someone who really said that they were going to step up and lead things and would really be the, I almost said alpha, and in a way that's what it feels like, which it seems like you weren't really comfortable with it, because for you, you were like, I don't mind taking the lead. I don't mind being the one responsible for these sorts of things. I don't mind being the person who's driving the car on this journey. But this other person was insistent that they be the person that was in that role. And for you, it was almost like, I don't have to do it. I don't mind doing it, but if you want to do it, fine, do it. But then they wouldn't. It's like them saying that they wanted to be in control or be, I guess, like take the lead in the relationship, it was really their way of then being able to check out and not really have any sort of responsibility or accountability to the actual relationship. But when you were more in control, for you, it was like, there are certain things that need to happen in a relationship for it to be healthy, and there are certain things that we need to talk about, and there are things that we need to set as boundaries. Like you would actually try to make the relationship feel like you were putting effort into it when you would take control. But then it would instantly trigger issues. It would trigger this I'm focused on this card now. It's the Four of Pentacles reversed. It's like any time that this relationship got serious or had an issue that needed to be dealt with, whenever it felt like pressure was showing up within this relationship, this other person would just it's so bizarre. It's like, what I feel is they were almost like it triggered them into defense mode. Because even if you said, we have an issue communicating, what the other person heard was, you don't know how to communicate well. And it's like, for them, when you would be like in control and point out things that were legitimate issues within the relationship, things that actually were problems, things that really did need to be dealt with, it's like they took all of that as a personal attack on them. And then they would say, you know what, you're just too critical, you're too serious, you need to lighten up. I can do a better job because I'm not always going to be criticizing you. And even when you would say, like, I'm not criticizing you, I'm just trying to point out things about our relationship that could be better. I'm not even saying that the relationship is all bad. I'm just saying that there are things that we could absolutely try to work on and make some improvements. But they just didn't get it. They did not understand that it wasn't something that was a personal attack on them. You have it, the Ace of Pentacles came out upright. I don't necessarily feel like it's connected to all this other stuff. I feel like this is giving insight into what happened and where you're at right now. I feel like this Ace of Pentacles is just more your current energy, honestly. I feel like you've just sort of stepped away from this with this feeling of, that was so much effort and that took so much energy and so much time for nothing. Like, I don't really have anything to show for the investment that I put into that person. And so I really just want to focus on my money and my job and see what I can do in terms of making my life feel awesome. There are lots of you who you just realized that there were all these things that you were wanting to do, and you were thinking about these things in the context of doing them with this other person. And it's interesting because now you're thinking, like, it's almost like I'm hearing someone in their mind say, well, it might be a little bit harder because I don't have anyone who's going to split the cost or be there with me and make it maybe be like a shared experience. But you're at peace with it now. And that's what this feels like in terms of this Ace of Pentacles, is you just saying, maybe, if I put in a little bit of extra time, or maybe I'll pick up a side job because I want to be able to save the money up to take this trip or buy this home, or these things that you were thinking about in context of within a relationship. It feels like you've just shifted out of that, which is a good thing. It doesn't feel sad. It feels very empowered, honestly. You just realize that you don't need to have somebody else in order to do these things for yourself. You just might have to work a little bit harder, but that's actually, you're happy with that. I want to just see if we can clarify a little bit on this death reversed, because again, I was saying, like, I do feel like you were left in a place where you just didn't know what was next. And I want to see if you got out of that or if that's still what's going on for you guys. So let's see if we can clarify death reversed for Leo, July 21st through the 31st. Clarify death reversed for Leo regarding love, July 21st through the 31st. The Queen of Wands coming out reversed. I don't feel any negative parts of the Queen of Wands reversed that can go along with that card. What I really feel is that your self-confidence and your self-esteem were really wounded when this happened. Whatever this is. Whatever this moment was, whatever happened with this person. And it's interesting because I feel like there are lots of you that had lots of things happen. And I know that sounds almost like a cop-out, but that's what it feels like to me. It's like, whatever this past thing is, it doesn't matter. It's what I was saying at the beginning. You accepted that this was done. You accepted this was going to end. That's not even what bothered you. What really felt like it was the main issue is this death card reversed. And that feeling of, but now what? Now what do I do? And I feel that the thing that bothered you the most, and some of you are just managing to break through this, and some of you are right dead center in this emotion, it's this feeling of it's almost like you lost respect for yourself because of what you put up with in the past. And it left you feeling very, your confidence and your self-esteem were just really brought down. And that's why you're going into this space of just feeling like, you know what, I can do these things for myself. I can treat myself. I can do the things that I know I need to do. And that's okay. I don't need to put this off. I don't need to wait. I don't need to have somebody else to do this with me. And it's what that's doing, having that attitude, having those thoughts in your mind, it's putting you back into a place of feeling confident and feeling like you can do something big. And you're remembering that you're someone that you can set a goal and you can work towards that, and you're very proud of the things that you do make happen. You really, you normally carry so much pride in yourself, and that just really got rocked. Your self-esteem and self-confidence were really beaten up in the end to this, and realizing that this really added nothing to your life. This doesn't feel like it was anything that you, at least right now, I mean, obviously we learn lessons, and that's a positive thing. So everything contributes something good to our life, even the bad experiences. But outside of that, outside of just learning a lot of lessons, you don't really seem like you even have that many fond memories coming out of this. And because of that, because you look back on it and you think, I wasn't even happy. I was so unhappy. But I kept just going with it. So you have the Hierophant. This was the second card that came out. It's reversed. The first card that came out is the Ten of Wands upright. I do feel like these two are coming out together. And it's continuing on what I was talking about, because I feel like you're ready to have this experience fully feel like it is done. You want it to be closed out. You want it to have an end. And even though the actual breakup, no contact, whatever this is, even though that's happened, you don't feel disconnected from it yet, because it still feels too fresh. And you're also having to reevaluate who you are and look at things that you did and compromises that you made that really were compromises of yourself, not just compromises in terms of trying to make the relationship better or meet someone in the middle. You really compromised a lot of your own core values, and a lot of things that you would have said were non-negotiable to you suddenly became negotiable, and there were lots of exceptions that you made for this person. How you're dealing with this feeling of, so much of it was on me. That's what it is. That's really healthy. And I just want to say this because a lot of times when we're in this situation where we're dealing with an ending, we make it be all about that other person. And that's just a way to escape from what ultimately we have to do, which is look at ourselves and figure out why we did the things that we did and why we put up with the things that we did. And even if it was that person doing something, even if that person was mean or that person cheated or that person lied, if we continually put up with it or accepted it or there were no consequences for it, yes, that other person did a lot of bad stuff, but you knew that bad stuff was going on. And so it ultimately has to come back to you. And why did you put up with that? Why didn't you walk away earlier? Why did you have to have it go to this big ending? And this Hierophant coming out reversed, for me, just feels like you being willing to look at this differently than perhaps maybe you have with other relationships, with other connections. It does feel that it's funny because in my mind I just heard someone almost like they were talking to themselves late at night, having like replayed everything, and they just get to a point where they say, it's never changed anything. It's never broken the cycle. It's never stopped the patterns when I've looked at the other person and asked myself, why do I keep attracting the same person? And then this light bulb goes off, and then you realize it's not about you attracting the person. It's about you continuing to see this person, see the red flags, see what is happening, and not walk away. And you're asking yourself really serious questions about that. It feels deep and heavy, but you feel like you're getting something out of this. You're getting this. It doesn't seem like it's a burden to you, even though it's heavy. You're enjoying this process of exploring yourself and asking these harder questions because you want to ultimately not only heal from this past one, but just stop this pattern of the same sort of relationship, the same sort of person. I want to see if there's any advice or guidance for my Leos regarding love in this situation, July 21st through the 31st. Any advice or guidance for Leo regarding love? July 21st through the 31st. Okay. So we have the Knight of Wands reversed coming out with the Hierophant again. The Hierophant did come out upright this time. It's interesting coming out with the Knight of Wands because when this card is reversed, it really speaks to energy that isn't focused and delays and a real sense of frustration. What it feels like to me, honestly, is it's saying, like, don't try to go the traditional route. Don't try to go back to what feels like it's how you've always thought about this. If you do that, it's just going to leave your energy scattered. You're not really going to have the same impact. It feels that these cards are coming out as confirmation to you, Leo, that doing things differently this time, whatever that means to you, I'm just hearing all these things in terms of like what it might be. It's not going right into a relationship again, or maybe it's not telling yourself you can't be in a relationship with anyone for at least a year. It's allowing yourself not to blame the other person or really hold on to any hostility towards the other person where in the past you have. Or it's actually allowing yourself to feel angry and upset when in the past you wouldn't allow that. This reading feels really general, but also really specific because there are lots of different things that happen, lots of different endings. There are lots of ways that the people listening to this are embodying this Hierophant reversed and changing the way that they've processed breakups and pain and sadness and hurt before in an attempt to end this once and for all. There's not one specific thing that's coming forward energetically or from the cards. It's like you all had experiences from different paths, but you have all ended up in the same space in terms of how you felt when it was done and what you're trying to do now to get yourself out of it and to move forward. So I have one other deck here, and then we'll call this a wrap. This would, again, be for the next 10 days, so we're not going to go too far into this. I think most of what you're going to be doing is this processing and figuring out how to look at this differently. That seems to be the theme here, especially with the advice and guidance coming out the way that it did. The more that you can do things differently this time, the more that you can break your own patterns of how you process and get closure, that starts you on this path of the next time you meet someone or the next time something just happens and suddenly you find yourself being swept away by someone, because you closed out the last relationship differently than you have before, you start the next one differently too. It puts you in a completely different space. So these cards, I use them mostly as oracle cards, and I don't go by their literal meaning in the book. I use more of an intuitive connection to the card when I see it. So let's see what comes out for Leo regarding love, July 21st through the 31st. Have one flip there. Very interesting here. You have past lives coming out. I do feel that a lot of this, in terms of the length of time that this has been a pattern, that this has been a cycle, it feels very much like something that's been around for a long time. Again, I think I said at some point, this is really about closing out long-term cycles. And you have an awareness now of what those look like. Whatever this connection was, whatever happened here, and again, I think that's so specific to each person listening, and I encourage you guys to jump into the comments and talk to each other about whatever it was. I'm curious to see if there is any sort of commonality, or if it really is a situation where one person is going to say that they were cheated on. One person is going to say that the person just ghosted. One person might say that they just had some huge fight. It just feels like that the specifics of it aren't what's important. It's just each of you are looking back, and whatever this thing was, you're looking back and you just see this repeating over and over and over, way back, even to when you were a kid. And it's just put you into this new mindset of, wow, I have totally missed that this has been a thing that's been happening and holding me back. But you are going to do what you need to do to close this out, which is amazing. It's awesome. So keep going and keep rebuilding that confidence and your self-esteem with each milestone that you have. I feel like this reading is just confirmation to those of you that this resonated with, that you're doing what you need to be doing, and it's good to be thinking about things differently. So Leos, I hope that you enjoyed that reading. I am doing these a little bit differently, so leave me a comment. Let me know if you like this better, if you like this not so much as when I do a bit more structured with an actual spread that has really clear definitions. I just felt like doing these a little bit more non-structured. It's how my mood felt tonight. So, but let me know what you think, because I do want to hear from you guys about which style of reading you prefer. Again, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment to do so. Also, give this video a thumbs up if it resonated with you, and share it with other Leos that you think might actually need to hear this message. I have enjoyed doing this reading for you guys. Again, I will be back with another reading for you on August 1st. That will be for the first half of August. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I will be in the comments responding to you guys over the next couple of days just to see what you guys thought and getting to know you and saying hello. All right, I'll see you guys again for the next reading.